Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Mod Driven. So the big question is, why trade the Honda Civic for a Toyota Prius of all cars? Why get a Prius at all? You know, I mentioned a few days ago that I have one on order. I think I did. But if I didn't, I do have one on order. It's supposed to be here at the end of this month, the end of June. So we'll see if it actually comes. It's already been built, supposedly. There is some sort of campaign against it. What that means, according to the dealership, is that there's some part that the car needs that the dealership doesn't have in this case. Could be anything. Could be floor mats, could be the rear window cover, you know, that little cheapo, flimsy thing that folds down to hide everything below it, the security cover in the hatch. Who knows? Could be anything. They didn't know specifically. But anyway, it is coming. So the Honda, which is one of my favorite all-time cars. I mean, I love this car. It's in great shape. It's a 2020. I bought it used, low miles, 16,000 something. Has one of these things and an extra one of those. If you don't know what those are, that's a manual transmission. It's a 6-speed manual. That's, of course, the clutch. And I love that. I actually learned how to drive on a manual transmission vehicle, an old Plymouth K car. It was new when we had it when I was much younger. Right now, you can see the hood is up. I have it sitting here. It's sitting on a charger, which right now, for some reason, is fluctuating, probably because I just opened the door and took some power. I don't know. It shouldn't be enough to make it go down any, but seems to have. What I'm doing, by the way, the hood struts on here, I love those. Gonna have to see if I can put those on the new Prius. I still can't get used to saying that, Prius. But anyway, we'll get into that in a minute. I've also got the aftermarket air cleaner on it, and that's really about it. There's a couple other cosmetic things that I've done, but not too much. So I have it sitting here charging because anytime I trade a car and there's a lead time, I start to worry about if I'm out driving it around and something happens, it will diminish the value of the car because I already have the deal worked out based on the condition the car is in right now. So I don't want to do anything to diminish that, which means I'm not driving it. So I have the battery tender on it, the maintenance tender, if you will, to keep the battery charged since it is sitting and I'm not driving it. Now, I know a lot of people will start them up once in a while as opposed to putting a battery minder or tender on it. I don't think that's enough. I think unless you're out driving it around, you really need to put something on it to keep that battery up. Because the last thing I want to do is the day I go to trade it off, it won't start because the battery's dead. So, why the Toyota Prius? Of all cars, I mean, there are tons of other cars out there I could get. But you see, I have a problem. I fall in love with vehicles. Every vehicle that I've ever bought, I have fallen in love with well before I ever bought it. And that's what happened with the Prius. And I was not a Prius lover to begin with. That outgoing or last generation Toyota Prius was ugly. Ugly, gutless, you know, just no redeeming benefits or qualities about it, for me anyway. It does get really great gas mileage, but you know, I don't drive tons and tons of miles anyway. I work out of the house, so I just drive around to run errands or shoot videos, honestly, and maybe the occasional trip here or there to the lead throwing range, if you know what I'm talking about. But otherwise, not a whole lot. I love the looks of this car. I think they have done an excellent job on it. And I'm not alone. You know, I've watched tons of videos on it. I always do a lot of research before I commit to anything. And I've done that. And I see nothing but rave reviews on the new Prius. Everything from its looks to its functionality, its capability, and of course, its fuel economy. Now, this Honda's not too bad. I mean, it's actually getting somewhere right now in the low 30s. And that is primarily back roads driving, if you will, not freeway type stuff. So I would imagine it would probably be somewhere in the mid 30s, something like that, if I drove it primarily on the freeways. Of course, depending on how heavy my foot is that day. This new Prius is going to get, at least it's rated at, I believe it's 52 or 54 miles per gallon. The one that I'm getting, the trim level, it's the XLE. That's kind of a mid-range trim level, I would say. The only thing I'm not real hip about it, and I'll get it next time around if I stay with this vehicle, and maybe I'll upgrade it to the Prime. The Prime, by the way, is their plug-in hybrid. That's pretty much the reason I didn't go with the Prime this time. I did not want a plug-in hybrid. You have to buy equipment, have it installed. It'll cost you, I figure by the time you're done, somewhere around $1,000, something like that. I think the charging unit itself is about $700, and then another 300 or so bucks, I'm guessing, for an electrician to come out and put the station in, because it's not one that you can just plug into a normal socket. That may be the way down the road. I don't know. It'll be several years for me before I'd be interested in that. However, it is possible to go up the next level in the Prius to the, I think it's the limited version, and that will give you the bigger screen, which is the only thing that will be missing in this car that I'm honestly kind of interested in, but I've never had one of these before, so I thought I'd try the mid-level without it. And by the way, you can get that bigger screen in the XLE trim level. It's just not on the car that happened to be in production that I went ahead and grabbed so I could get one, right? Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. It is a shame that we're not going to have the Honda anymore. It is an awesome car. I love it. Great dependability. It's pretty darn quick, too, for what it is. I mean, it's not a race car. It's not a drag strip car or anything. I have modded just the air cleaner. Nothing mechanical about the car or anything like that. I did put some cover over the chrome trim here, which came out really well, and then I replaced the rubber across the roof that had started to fade out and degrade, actually, and then also a trim piece along the side here that had started to chip a little bit for some reason. I don't know why. I think that's a Honda thing, but it's all brand new now. I put the wing on, of course, which I really love the wing on this car. I'm curious to see if I'll be able to put a wing rather on the Prius. I kind of doubt it. And I'm not even sure that it would look really good. Back to why I'm getting the Prius. I want to experience it. You know, the future is hybrids, probably more so electrics, but I think we're a good 10, maybe 20 years away from electrics being mainstream, simply because we don't have the infrastructure, in my opinion, to be able to accommodate them. I mean, could you imagine pulling up to a charging station? There's 4 or 5 cars in line ahead of you. It takes at least, what, half an hour to charge. I mean, do the math. 4 cars, 4 hours, maybe 120 minutes if it's half an hour. That's still, what, an hour and a half that you have to sit there and wait? Or 2.5 hours, I should say. No, it's 2 hours. I can't get the math straight. But anyway, you get the idea. It's not like pulling up to a gas station, you just fill up. I can't wait to try it out, see what it feels like. It does have the braking that recharges the battery. I can't remember what they call that right now. But you brake and it recharges the battery in the car a little bit. It does have a battery in it, of course. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here, maybe answer a couple of questions. Obviously, there will be a lot more to come on this new Toyota Prius when I have it. I am big into mods and things, so there will be mods on this car, and you can mod a hybrid too. Stay tuned. It's going to be interesting to see. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the new Toyota Prius. Do you like it or not so much? I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.